All right, guys, we're back on Southeastern 16. Chase Robinson and Brian Edwards join, and we're going to get into Missouri versus Kansas. I know a big game for some of our fans here at Southeastern 16, and to get into all the action, remember you can head over to FanDuel, our new title sponsor here, and we will tee it up there as FanDuel, Brian. A little interesting here, 6.5 in favor of the Missouri Tigers right now.
Yeah, minus 108 price on that minus 6.5 for Mizzou and minus 12 for KU, plus the 6.5. Mizzou minus 220 on the money line, plus 180 if you'd like the Jayhawks to pull the upset. The total is 50 and one half, shaded to the over minus 114, minus 106 for the under. Missouri's team total is 28 and a half, under minus 122 on that. Kansas's team total 21 and a half, minus 118 to the under there. First quarter spread, Mizzou minus 1.5 at a minus 104 price. First half number, Mizzou minus 3.5, minus 112 juice.
Chase, Missouri, of course, got a very convincing 61-6 win over Central Arkansas in Week 1. Wasn't that easy, we know. The Sam Horn injury. They also lost Blake Craig, I think, according to our guy, Gabe Yarman over at Power Mizzou. Sounds like the timeline's going to be at least 8 weeks for him, kicking-wise, which we know is not ideal given the kicker they had to replace from last year, who was fantastic, as we know. And so, a couple of non-ideal developments there coming out of a pretty dominant performance. But we know in this game, the story is probably going to be Beau Pribula and seeing if he can build off of, again, what was a pretty good performance, I would say, against Central Arkansas.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And yeah, the quarterback competition going in really ended before it really got started. And such an unfortunate injury to Sam Horn to start that game Thursday. But yeah, Pribula now has a chance. It's his team. He's QB1. And so we'll see how he does, knowing that, he went into the game Thursday thinking, okay, I've got to perform well if I want this job. It's his job now. So how does he respond to that is something I'm going to be looking for in the first few drives, like knowing that it's his team now. He's leading them. I'm interested to see how he comes out. He was 23-28, 2 touchdowns, 283 yards the other night. And see kind of how he leads his team. And then I'm also I think the running back game could be big for Missouri in this game Saturday.
Yeah, Brian, I was going to throw it to you because I know you've talked about Ahmad Hardy this summer, and 10 carries, 100 yards, had the 44-yarder, had a touchdown in that game, just looked really good, and like we said, in a game that Missouri dominated. But I think that's probably the most intriguing part for me is just that combination of Pribula and Hardy kind of in leading this offense forward. And look, they're going to have some opportunities in this game because I think we had brought this up, I don't know, it was a week or so ago. We were doing the early look ahead to this game, and we're like, you want to talk about a team that's on the completely opposite end of the spectrum last year with offense and defense, and that was Kansas. Like Pro Football Focus had them ranked 6th in their offensive grade, 96th in their defensive grade. And when you just look at the secondary, I think that is still an area where Missouri can probably make some big plays here, whether it's via the passing game or the running game, and being able to potentially put up some points in this one.
Yeah, I agree. I thought Hardy was outstanding in his Mizzou debut. First team All Sun Belt last year as a true freshman at ULM. I wanted to report some good injury news for Kansas. So in the opener against Fresno, Dean Miller, their first team all Big 12 defensive end. He missed that game, but he did come back against Wagner. And DJ Graham, starting corner, transfer from Utah State. He missed the opener, but came back last week and had 3 tackles. And Bryson Canny, who was one of the many new wide receivers. Jalon Daniels lost his top 7 pass catchers, but they've done a good job in the portal with some guys they've gotten. And Bryson Canty is one of those guys, and he missed the Fresno game. He's the first team all Ivy selection at Columbia last year, but he played against Wagner, 2 catches, 42 yards. And then there's LaShawn Williams, who had an outstanding game in the opener. He's the transfer from Iowa. He had 57 yards and 1 touchdown on just 6 attempts in week 1, and he missed the Wagner game. But Lance Leipold said yesterday after practice he was out at practice yesterday, and they're expecting him to play. So that's some good injury news for Kansas. Just a few other stats to share. As a road underdog under Leipold, Kansas 7-11 against the spread. They lost 5 of 6 road games last year and went 2-4 ATS. As for Missouri, they're now on an 11-game home winning streak, 7 wins by 7 or more, which I point out, the line being 6.5 right now. And they're 17-1 their last 18 at home, and 29-6. This is straight up now. 29-6 under Drinkwitz at home, but against the spread, as a home favorite, only 8-12-1 against the spread.
All right, so I found this stat from our guy Phil Steele in the magazine this year. Last 15 meetings, the underdog 10-5 against the spread, 8 outright upsets. And I didn't realize this, Brian. And like this just I don't know why this just blows my mind, but I think this is Kansas's first regular season game against an SEC team since 1988.
Wow.
That seems like a long time. And I'm like, you're telling me they didn't play an SEC team anywhere along the way in that long? They did have the bowl game. Was it against Arkansas, right?
Arkansas, yeah.
Yeah,
just a couple years. That was a hell of a game, too.
It was, yeah. But like regular season game, I'm thinking, wow, that is wild that they have not played an SEC team in that long. But I'm sure if they have, Kansas fans, please correct this stat in the comments. I know you will. But I just thought that was very interesting.
Well, I see they beat Missouri in 2011, but Mizzou did not come until 2012. So
yeah. So I guess that's it. Maybe they just, we're not scheduling at that point, needing to play those kind of games. We know the scheduling requirements and such have changed over the years, but maybe that's it. But Chase Brian talked about Jalon Daniels, and yeah, I mean, he is someone that obviously Missouri is going to have their eye on from a defensive standpoint. Again, even with losing some of his weapons last year, off to a great start this season. And like we said, I think because this, to me, at least on paper, and remember, too, I brought up those numbers from Pro Football Focus. Like, I think Kansas is better on defense. That was the whole probably goal in the offseason, was to simply improve some of those areas because they have to if they're going to have a chance to, again, have a successful season. But I think that's where, to me, like, this is a matchup where, as usual, like, there's plenty of intrigue with how these two quarterbacks play. And I think, to me, it's also on the other side, with Missouri having as many guys back as they have on defense. What can you learn from a game against Central Arkansas? I don't really know, but they're going to have a bit of a test here with Daniels.
No, they are, and you look at kind of their numbers. They just held Central Arkansas to 73 yards passing and 154 yards rushing. But again, Central Arkansas is a lower level team. Like, Missouri was supposed to do that, but so I don't know how much we can learn about Missouri's defense in that game. I think this week is when we learn what they are defensively, and I think they're going to have to perform well. They're going to have to slow him down. I mean, they're going to play good offenses this season. There's no doubt. They play an SEC schedule, so we're going to learn a lot about Missouri's defense in this game if they can slow him down, if they can put a stop to what he's trying to do. And this is good practice, again, for what they're going to be seeing moving forward.
All right. Before we get into our picks, let's quickly remind you of our friends at Game Time Sidekicks, officially licensed stainless steel drinkware. All the SEC schools are there. Plus, if you're a Kansas fan, they have over 350 more universities. Great cups, everything from stainless steel sippy cups, tumblers, 40-ounce bottles, and the shaker cups. All of you guys watching can get a discount. SE16, 20% off over at GameTimeSidekicks.com. Also at Rock Forum, you're going to get a discount. The world's strongest magnetic phone case, extreme protection, super strong magnets, rock lock secure mounting. They've got it all over there. Go check out all the great selections of stuff, phone cases, accessories, all that. You're going to get a discount, as I said there too. SEC25 for 25% off. SEC25, 25% off. And our new friends over at Hovey Drive Goods, your new favorite hat. Look no further than Hovey hats for high-quality headwear with a great fit and unique designs. We'll have the promo code coming there soon on that. So, again, check out all that stuff in the description to support our friends there. All right, picks time. Chase, thoughts on this one, Missouri and Kansas? And I think I may have forgotten to mention earlier, this is a 2:30 Central kickoff, and it's on ESPN2.
I'm going to take Missouri. I think it could be somewhat of a game. I think Kansas can keep it close. I do think Missouri wins. They're able to pull away in the second half, maybe by 10 or so. I think Missouri wins this game.
I concur. I don't like a whole lot of games on the board this weekend because there's so many 32-point favorites and north of that, and plenty favored by more than 40. Week 2 is not always one of the better slates, but I did make 3 bets yesterday, and this was one of them. I bet Missouri. I'm not implying it's going to be a pimp slap by any means. Jalon Daniels will make plays, and they'll hang around for a while. But I think eventually Mizzou will get some separation in the second half. I think they win a 34-21 type game.
I think, to me, this is one where it is that number at 6.5. So you're thinking, okay, this at least from the Vegas perspective, this should be a close game, and that's where I think it's one of those where there's a couple of those little things that could really tell the story here. And I think, as we said, can Beau Pribula keep that momentum going against what I think is a very opportunistic matchup for him against this Kansas team? Can Missouri sort of, slow down the momentum of Jalon Daniels, who we said has started well? Obviously, they played 2 inferior opponents, but the guy is still very good. And I think this is one, with that number, Brian, I'm kind of looking at this and thinking, all right, Missouri just lost a kicker. And, they're bringing in someone, Robert Meyer, who was 4 for 4 in game 1, but those are all extra points. Do they, if you put him in that kind of position in a game like this, a kick here or there could be the difference. But I still have a lot of confidence in Missouri. We said going into the season, I think, Chase, that they were one of our more, maybe not underrated teams, but teams just that were not being talked about enough. And I just, I don't know how much, like we said, they're going to be talked about coming out of a win against a team they were supposed to beat like that. But we may be talking a lot more about them coming after this one if they take care of business. So we're all going to go Missouri on this one. And again, if you want to get in on the action over at FanDuel, check it out over there. We said 6.5 is the number right now for the Tigers, over under at 50.5. Lots of other wagers you can make with our friends over at FanDuel, all the other SEC games as well. And you guys know we'll have that covered this week here at Southeastern 16. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, turn on your notifications, and we will be reacting live to this game after it happens on Saturday, after that sort of 2:30 Central window. So we'll be talking about Missouri, Kansas, and some of the other SEC games, Kentucky, Ole Miss as well. So we appreciate you guys watching as always. In the comments, let us know your predictions for Missouri and Kansas.